Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the result controversially announced on March 1st, 2023, and that result is being challenged in the courts. First, it had been challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, where it had now moved to the Supreme Court. While Nigerians wait for the Supreme Court to give the verdict of who actually won the election, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a beneficiary of that March 1st announcement, has been running the country, but that has not stopped his opponents from going to any length to hold him into account on why he does not deserve to be the president of Nigeria. And one of the places that his opponent has taken his matter to is at the court in Chicago, United States, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday begged the federal judge in the United States to ignore records that suggested that the person who was admitted into Chicago State University in the 1970s was a female, saying his Nigerian political rival, Atiku Abubakar, was trying to sandbag him in the ongoing case over academic documents. It is, according to his lawyers, they say that it is established beyond peradventure that it is improper to sandbag one's opponent by raising new matter in reply. Mr. Tinubu said in a filing in September 11, which was filed before Judge Jeffrey Gilbert of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois in Chicago. Now, one of the Tinubu's lawyers in the case, Christopher Carmichael, entered the argument on the Nigerian president's behalf. The response seemed a last-minute push to downplay today's hearing. You know, there's going to be a hearing today, September 12th, to deal with the issue of academic documents of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which Atiku Abubakar want to have access to. So the response seemed a last-minute push to downplay today's hearing by Mr. Gilbert, who had recommended that all parties appear before the court on Tuesday, that's today afternoon, amid strong indications a ruling was imminent in the matter. So there's likely to be a ruling today. We are waiting for that ruling today to know what is the situation of things in Chicago, whether the documents of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be made accessible to Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar was asking the courts to grant enough subpoenas to compel records and depositions from Chicago State University amid controversy over Tinubu's admission and graduation. Now, the issue that this matter is raising and the defense that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made is, we'll look at it in details much later before the end of this video. Now, the school has continued to present contradictory documents that often threw up more questions than previously conceived. For instance, at least two different certificates issued by the school on Tinubu's name are in public domain. One was issued directly to Tinubu, while the other was issued to the Nigerian lawyer who obtained a subpoena for the records last year. The one given to Tinubu said he graduated in June 22, 1979, having been admitted in 1977, while the one issued to the Nigerian lawyer, Mike Enahore, carried June 27, 1979. Still, additional records of admission submitted by Chicago State University under the 2022 subpoena show that a certain Bola Tinubu was admitted to Chicago State University in the same 1977 and presented a Southwest College result belonging to a female. That's part of the issue of contention. Who was admitted in 1977? The Bola Tinubu that was admitted to Chicago State University in 1977, is he a male or a female? Because the Southwest College result belongs to a female, which was submitted as part of the qualification for the degree program at Chicago State University. It's interesting. Now, furthermore, to show how controversy keep on trailing as well Bola Ahmed Tinubu's academic record. Furthermore, Eleanor Daniel, the Chicago State University president who purportedly signed the 2022 certificate for Tinubu, only joined the school in 1998, or 19 years after Tinubu was said to have graduated. She left in 2008 following a financial mismanagement scandal, or 14 years before she purportedly signed the certificate. 14 years before she purportedly signed the certificate. She was not even a staff. 14 years. It's interesting. It's interesting. And to many Nigerians, this doesn't mean anything. To our judiciary, it doesn't mean a thing. This woman left in 2008 following a financial mismanagement scandal, or 14 years before she purportedly signed the certificate as the current president of the school. These, among many other anomalies in the Chicago State University records, have rendered Atiku no choice but to seek full disclosure under subpoena from the school. That is the because of all this controversy, because of all this uncertainty about the certificates of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's why he wanted clarity. He wanted details to be given to him. Atiku Abubakar intends to use these records in his ongoing judicial challenge to Tinubu's election earlier this year, arguing that the president's several instances of alteration or falsified records should be enough to nullify his eligibility to continue in office. Of course, these are part of the efforts to prove that Tinubu ab initio is not eligible to have participated in the election because he allegedly forged his academic records. And Atiku is trying to prove it by getting the records. And Tinubu is doing everything possible to stop him from getting that record. Now, but Tinubu's lawyers, noticing the controversy the Southwest College record generated around Tinubu's identity, told the courts that it was a conspiracy theory. Now, the Tinubu lawyers are claiming that it was a conspiracy theory, that it was a female that was admitted. Okay. And therefore, they are saying that that conspiracy theory was not the fault of the Nigerian leader. But they forgot to mention that it was in the record of Chicago State University that it was discovered that the person that was admitted was a female. There is nothing conspiracy about it. Conspiracy theory is when you are beginning to create what does not exist, or begin to imagine what does not exist that it exists, or begin to fantasize about something that is not true and trying to paint it as if it is true. The fact that a female was admitted bearing the name Bola Tinubu at Chicago State University is a fact. It is not a conspiracy theory. So the lawyers of Tinubu, they are being clever by half. And that was why Atiku Abubakar lawyers also are tackling them on that. It was in the records because that Southwest College resort was bearing a female name. The gender was female. And it was submitted to Chicago State University. And Chicago State University had that record. So for Tinubu himself to claim that it was a conspiracy theory is all part of the series of lies that has been often associated with his identity issue. Okay? That's a fact. Because, okay, look at what the Tinubu's lawyers are saying. They said they quoted and the reference portion of the Nigerian court filings parrots conspiracy theories about President Tinubu, including that the degree from Chicago State University really belongs to a female named Bola Tinubu. Tinubu's lawyers say it's not a conspiracy theory. The result was bearing female, and the result came from Chicago State University. It wasn't that Atiku made it up. It wasn't that David Hundiyin made it up. It wasn't that anybody made it up. It is on the record of Chicago State University that Nigerians got to know and the world got to know about that. That the results that was purportedly used in admitting Tinubu to that university, Southwest University College result, was owned by a female. They went on to say that that conspiracy theory is not an asserted basis for discovery. Of course, Atiku's lawyers, led by Angela Liu, quickly filed a response to let the judge know the truth. To know that the argument Tinubu's lawyers were making should be ignored and the hearing should be allowed to proceed as scheduled today. Although Atiku Abubakar disputes the assertion made by Tinubu in his motion for leave and accompanying sole response, Abubakar consents to Tinubu's submission of the sole response and his accompanied exhibit DKT 271 on the assumption that the court will allow his counsel to respond to the arguments and assertions made therein at the hearing before the court, scheduled for today, September 12th, 2023. The lawyer said. So the issue here is that despite everything the Tinubu and co were trying to do to stop, to obfuscate the facts about the case, Atiku is pleading with the judge that the matter should go ahead and that the issue of conspiracy should be dismissed. There's nothing conspiracy about the fact that a female was admitted. The only thing is there a female that was admitted and then another Bola Tinubu was also admitted who is a male? And do they have two Bola Tinubus that graduated from Chicago State University? One female, one man. Are there two Bola Tinubus that was admitted at Chicago State University and they graduated at the same time? One bearing Bola Adekunle Tinubu, one bearing Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Those are the questions to answer. Okay. So it's not a very big deal ordinarily to answer that question. It is what the university can go through its record and it will find out the truth. Who did it admit? Is it Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Bola Adekunle Tinubu? Who did the university admit? Or did they admit two candidates? One Bola Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and another Bola Adekunle Tinubu. Okay. And what the interesting thing in all this is this tendency for Tinubu to always shift blame to others, claiming that the idea that the person that was admitted was a female, he said that it is not his fault. So whose fault is it? Who presented that result that has a female as the owner? Southwest College results with which he gained admission, because that result was an advanced. It's like an A-level certificate, so to say. That was why Tinubu could enter university in 1977 and finish 1979. It means he came in at a higher level. He didn't start from. In Nigeria, we say that the person skipped year one and started from year two or year three. Okay. But that certificate, that Southwest College result that gave him the edge for which he was able to do a 4-year program in just 2 years. Why is he bearing a female? And who was admitted in the university? Is it a male or a female? If it is a male, why should that male be admitted with a female certificate? Or is it that is the result of the negligence of the Chicago State University authorities, that they couldn't decipher that the gender that was on the certificate was female and the person that presented it was a male? So that's why the clarity will only come if Atiku is allowed to access Tinubu's data through the instrumentality and the approval of the court to subpoena Chicago State University to release it, whether they like it or not. Then all these matters will become clarified and will no longer be a mere academic pursuit. Okay, so like I said, it's always it's instructive that Tinubu has always blamed others for his problems in terms of his records. Remember the discrepancies in his certificate. He blamed it on the clerk of the university, Chicago State University. That is the person he blamed for that. Now he's saying that one of the certificate that he allegedly used in entering the university is owned by a female, and he also blaming it on somebody else, say it's not his fault. And he didn't tell us whose fault it was. Is it the Chicago State University's fault or who? Remember in 1999 when he contested for governor of Lagos State, he failed that he attended uh, schools in Lagos and Ibadan until it was found out that he allegedly didn't attend any of those. Now, when, according to uh, Chief Bode George, when they search, they couldn't find his record in any of the schools he said he attended, both in Lagos and in Ibadan. He said when he was confronted, he said that, according to Bode George, I have shared that video severally in this channel. According to Bode George, when he was confronted, he said it was Senator Afikeyomi who filled his data in the INEC form and not himself. And that was why he was smart enough that when he was now filling his form, his INEC form to contest for president in 2023, he deliberately did not left primary and secondary spaces in the form vacant. Which, if you look at the newspaper headlines when the data of contestants were made public, the newspaper headlines were reading that Tinubu said that he didn't attend primary and secondary schools because he left that position vacant and then feel that he attended Chicago State University. And that was why, in an amusing way, Atiku Abubakar the other day was sharing on his Twitter handle, how could Tinubu have a university degree without primary and secondary education? So these are all parts of the controversy that will continue to trail the 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 the, the president's academic record. It will continue, and of course, in this country, with the way things are going, if the Supreme Court allows it, if all this evidence, Atiku Abubakar was able to piece them together, the court was able to give it to him in the United States, and they still say that as for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, cannot be disqualified if there are discrepancies in what he submitted to INEC and what was released from Chicago State University, and yet his election is validated by the Supreme Court. Then you can take it that in Nigeria, anything goes. That Nigeria is a country without law and order. It's just about the power of the might, the survival of the fittest. It depends on your connection. You can get away with anything. You can get away with everything as long as you are politically connected. So that is why it is interesting to see what the court will rule today in the United States. Are they going to allow Atiku Abubakar to have access to these documents? Are they going to compel Chicago State University to release those documents? And then, if they can be able to do that, and then the smoking gun that Atiku is looking for is found inside it, then if Tinubu survives, if the smoking gun was found out to be the truth, that there are discrepancies in his academic records different from what he submitted to INEC, then it is left for the Supreme Court to do the needful. But if at the end of the day, his records were found to be in tandem with what is with INEC and everything else, then that aspect of his of petition against him would have been settled. While we look at what the Supreme Court will say about his other baggage he's carrying in his victory, which is 25% in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. What is the Supreme Court going to say about it? Are they going to abandon their ruling in 2008 and align themselves with the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judgment on Wednesday? What is the position of forfeiture? Because Supreme Court have ruled on forfeiture 2014, Mohammed Abacha versus the federal government. It was clear what forfeiture is. And if that the meaning of forfeiture in 2014 remains the same in 2023, I don't see how Tinubu can survive the Supreme Court verdict. But the Supreme Court, if they say no, forfeiture has changed the meaning in 2023, then he can survive. So there are so many uh, other issues that relates to the election that they could still use to nullify his election if the Supreme Court take a closer look at the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. However, if after everything else he still survive, well, it means that in our country, Nigeria, it doesn't matter about the law, it's about your political connection. You can always survive any bottleneck, even set by the law legitimately. So that is why it is interesting that we pay attention to what the verdict will be today from the United States in terms of access to his record. It will be unfortunate if the courts did not allow Atiku Abubakar to get these records from Chicago State University. It means that the United States government, the United States courts has allowed Nigeria to have a leader whose record cannot be scrutinized, something they will never allow in their own country, something they will never tolerate in their own country, but which they now want Nigerian people to tolerate it, that they will have a leader whose academic records, whose integrity is shrouded in secrecy. And they have opportunity to help Nigerians to know the truth, and they covered it up. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.